What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, either yesterday or the day before yesterday, I did a video talking about how Angel Reese on her podcast revealed that she had been the victim of abuse by some Caitlin Clark fans. In particular, she said that she had been stalked, and people follow her home, harass her. Um, she's had people send AI nude photos of her to her family members, making them think that she was going around posting indecent photos on social media. And, I see it. I've seen it on her YouTube channel. I've seen people who supposedly can't stand her subscribe to her YouTube channel and leave disgusting comments, racial comments, sexist comments. And all of this stems from her rivalry with Caitlin Clark, right? So Stephen A. Smith on his YouTube channel talked about this. And somehow, some way, Stephen A. Smith made all of this Angel Reese's fault. So basically, he quoted her, talking about how she's been harassed. She's been the victim of racism. People, following her home, stalking her, the photos and all of that. And, Stephen A. Smith basically, he made a statement saying that these people are scum. And that's about it. He made a statement calling them a name, but that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? He basically, after putting out that bullshit statement, condemning a fan base that he didn't really want to upset because he knows that the number of Caitlin Clark fans dwarfs by far any other fan base in the WNBA. So he's a numbers guy, and he thinks about when he wakes up in the morning how to make money for ESPN and then get the crumbs himself. He recognizes that he has to, by default, be the biggest champion of Caitlin Clark. But he blames all this on Angel Reese, saying, if she was older, I would go in on her for what she just said. What did she say? She said, I don't attach Caitlin Clark to any of this nonsense. And some of her fan base, is racist, but Caitlin's not like that. No, know what he says? Caitlin Clark is box office. The fuck they got to do with what she's talking about? So the only thing I can think of is, they didn't go into detail about that too much. Don't upset Caitlin Clark's fan base. That's pretty much what I think he's trying to say. But then he goes further. He then says, pretty much, all of this is Angel Reese's fault. Yeah, he went there. He said that, well, and you should know better as a black person not to show up a white person in front of white people. Then he made some qualifying remark like, Well, it's not all of her fans is like that. Not even a large, but just a small percentage. But if it's just a small percentage, why this cardinal rule then, Stephen A? And why would you say that? Do you know how you sound? You sound like one of them dudes from Malcolm X when he was cooking in the kitchen on that train. You trying to get us fired? Caitlin Clark is good white people. They good white folk. You're trying to get, man. I can't believe he said that. You know what I find interesting is it was more media outrage at Caitlin Clark being fouled in a game than what Angel Reese's revealed. Nobody really gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that she is being harassed by a deranged section of a fan base that's purely racist and it's all about ideology, not really basketball fans. Harassing her family members, harassing her by putting out AI images of her nude. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. You know, it kind of reminds me the same stuff that was happening to, Russell Westbrook. Nobody really cared. Matter of fact, you had people like Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp say that, Russell Westbrook's mother and wife were lying about being harassed. But it's funny, some of these same people were so protective of Josh Giddey when he was accused of doing the unthinkable. In a WNBA, one of the main talking points against the NBA was how physical the WNBA was. Even if you don't like the way the girls play, even if you think they play awful, one of the good things was the physicality of the league. I kept remember before Caitlin Clark came along, everybody was talking about something. Well, the one good thing about WNBA, man, look, man, at least they play defense there, man. That's one good thing I like about it. Then all of a sudden she gets in there, she gets fouled, and it needs to be a congressional hearing about what's going on to Caitlin Clark. Unbelievable, man. Look, Stephen A. Smith basically said that you got to be on your best behavior and not showboat when it comes to the dominant people in this country. That's basically what he said in his podcast there. When you beat somebody in a race that's a different race and you're black, put your head down and go hide somewhere. Don't smile. Don't put your hands up in victory. Don't do what Angel Reese did, the don't see anything. Which, by the way, Caitlin Clark was doing that. Caitlin Clark was doing it to everybody, black, white, Latino, Irish, whoever. Nobody cares. It's just competition. But when Angel Reese reciprocated in the championship game, that was just too much for people. All of this harassment is coming from her getting the best of Caitlin Clark in a championship game. That, by the way, supposedly it didn't matter back then. And to tell you how much it doesn't matter when certain people win, do people even remember that the South Carolina Gamecocks are the champions in women's college basketball? Does anybody care? Nope. But remember, it was such an outcry when Caitlin Clark's Iowa Hawkeyes lost in that championship game that they demanded that they have a joint appearance with the championship LSU Tigers team at the White House. They demanded, well, they need to be celebrated. Don't tell me the realities in this country. And this ain't got nothing to do with basketball, like really honestly. This is something different. This is something totally different. I'm not talking about who's better, who should win Rookie of the Year. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real life shit right here. And Stephen A. Smith tried to trivialize that. That's disgusting on this dude's part, man. Absolutely disgusting. But that's what Stephen A. Smith does, man. He when it comes to these types of matters, he tries to play both sides of the fence. He's a politician when it comes to. He's mastered the art of trying to say enough to try to keep his black audience satiated or sated, I should say. But at the same time, try to appease others because he don't want to offend them. He definitely does not want to offend Caitlin Clark's fan base. He definitely doesn't want to do that. Doesn't want to do that. What he should have did was had a put the camera on me moment and condemn the segment of Caitlin Clark's fans that are despicable. That's not hard. You're not talking about most of them. But he couldn't do that because he don't want to upset that fan base. And I suspect, as much as he claims that this is his podcast, the ESPN line, the management probably told him, look, Chris Carter already said this shit is scripted for the most part. Look, Caitlin Clark fans, the ratings is through the roof. So you and Shannon are our top two niggas. Y'all gonna be Caitlin Clark fans. Okay? It's gonna be, you're gonna benefit from this. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna benefit from this, absolutely. Y'all looking for new contracts, y'all gonna be rewarded financially. And that's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's all posturing. So at the end of the day, I'm not looking at this from a sports standpoint or because I know the politics that they involved in. I'm looking at this from a human rights situation. No human being should be subjected to abuse, unwarranted abuse. I'm sorry. A hand wave gesture does not justify stalking people, okay? Screaming racial epithets. I'm not saying that happened to her in person, but it's definitely happened on her social media. Bombardment of racism. I've seen it myself. I've seen it for myself on her YouTube page. And the AI stuff. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with a young 22-year-old woman who works on her body, probably works out, stays in shape, has a great physique. There's nothing wrong with her being sexy. Okay? I'm tired of her being harassed and being called a 304 and all these other demeaning terms because she's sexy. I'm kind of like I'm it's getting to a point in this country, man, where the gaslighting is just an raging inferno at this point, man. Somehow people are trying to convince other people, that Angel Reese is ugly. I'm trying to figure out what bizarre world they're in where Angel Reese is an ugly chick. I mean, it ain't about looks or nothing like that, man, when it comes to basketball, but if we talking about like physical beauty, how is Angel Reese unattractive, but Caitlin Clark is this dime piece? I'm trying to figure this one out here. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.